The following podcast contains adult language and themes, so don't say we didn't fucking warn you.
You're listening to SarahTalk. It's political.
You could run a fucking pet rock against Donald Trump, and I would vote for the pet rock.
Yeah.
That's where we're at right
Yeah.
Critical.
One of the things that drives me nuts as an atheist is that my polling location is at a church. And I don't necessarily have a problem. I'm not going to like burst into flames walking into a church.
After being on this show and having heard your viewpoints on some things, my advice to you is don't test this. I won't burst into flames.
And positively LGBT positive.
In many states, you can still be evicted from housing simply for being gay or transgender. Stand and fight with us.
Oh, and occasionally completely absurd.
Oh, they're shutting us down. They're deplatforming us. I do a pretty good Alex Jones voice. They're turning the frogs gay.
Okay, you're sleeping in a child's room tonight because there's no way you're sleeping next to me. That is disgusting. I'm going to have nightmares.
And now, from Orlando, Florida, your host, Sarah Austin.
Hey everybody, welcome to SarahTalk.
Hello, hello, hello.
We came a little early tonight.
Well, you know.
It's not a problem I ever had to worry about. But I'm Sarah Austin in the studio with the lovely Becca.
Hello. That was my idea. I said, you know what? We might as well just start. Everybody's here.
Yeah. It is episode 149 of SarahTalk.
Can you believe we're one episode away from 150 of these things?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Can't believe it.
January 19th, 2019. And
Dan says I'm guessing 7 pages of show notes.
No. 6.
Oh,
6. You were
Dan,
close.
almost. Almost.
That should be your giveaway thing. Guess how many pages of show notes there are.
Yeah, I'm working on a giveaway. Got to come up with a good...
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
So before we get into the news and stuff tonight, I wanted to talk about... I didn't even
notice. Dan says you got
I got my hair down. Well, I wanted to talk about my lovely...
It's really cute. I wish I knew you were going to wear yours. I would have worn mine. Nobody tells me.
I brought it.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
So anyway, but I wanted to...
You got to show it off.
Yeah, I wanted to show it off. So my friend Christina at work is a lesbian woman, and she and her friend Amber... I got it right. Amber created a company, business called Gifting Rain Bros, which I think is fantastic. Mm-hmm. And they've been hand tie-dyeing all sorts of different things. But these are the ones that she gave us. So what they've done is they show up at like local pride events and stuff and just hand them out. Share the love.
Really cool.
Right? So if you want to follow them, they're on Instagram and Facebook at Gifting Rain Bros, RAINBROS, Gifting Rain Bros, which I thought was really neat. Wear your pride.
I like it.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if I wanted to talk about, like if I wanted to just talk about this, or if I wanted to try to corner her and be like, hold my phone up and be like, okay, we're going to record a quick interview.
I
want you to tell me, tell me what the plan is. How did you get started?
She should just come on the show and...
Yeah, I think that would be
plug
good.
herself.
Okay, so...
I didn't even get it. Okay, so I'm tired, guys. I've been up since 5 a.m. I had a yard sale today.
Yeah, so that was pretty successful. You had a yard sale.
Yeah, it's good. Got rid of a lot of stuff that's just been taking up space. Got a little bit of sun. My face hurts.
Yeah.
I was sitting in the garage most of the day, but getting it packed down in the afternoon because the sun rises in the back of our house. So most of the morning I didn't have any sun and it was super cold, so it was nice. But then about 2 o'clock it started getting way too hot because the sun was on the front of the house and I was getting burnt alive.
Yep.
Anyway, so I got some pink cheeks. Are you just... I'll just sit here and keep talking. What are you doing?
Well, nothing. I'm not doing anything. Okay, so coming up on the show, we still tentatively have Alyssa scheduled to come in studio, a musician that we shared on a couple of shows ago. It's been a few weeks. To come in studio and hang out with us. That'll be fun.
That'll be fun.
Also, an old friend of mine that I worked with, God, when would this have been? 2009? Come back to that.
Yeah, I will.
I was working in Main Street at the Magic Kingdom. And anyway, so this friend that I work with reached out to me and was like, hey, do you know what's going on in Pasco? And I was like, I mean, I look through so many news stories a week to get to this place every night, every Saturday night. And so I'm like, I don't know, maybe sure. Well, apparently there have been protesters showing up at the Drag Queen Story Hour event that they have at one of the local bookstores. Bookstore? I don't know. Anyway, we're going to get somebody on who's in the trenches there and can tell us all about that. Also, in Pasco, I found a story where they are dealing with our friends from the religious right showing up at school board meetings to protest trans kids being able to use restrooms and locker rooms. So, that's not too far from us. But I reached out to a couple of people involved with the Pasco Pride organization who are also very personally involved or involved adjacent to both of these issues. So hopefully we'll be able to get somebody on soon to talk a little bit about that. Go ahead.
So back to my yard sale. Dan says, Becca had a yard sale today. I didn't know she worked for TSA. Oh, yeah. Nope. I'm going to start my mystery shopping career next week. I wonder if there were any mystery shoppers at my yard sale. We did have.
Oh, you had a mysterious shopper at your
I had
yard
a friend.
sale.
Oh, he was special, but that's okay. You know, there's always one.
There's always one. We need to open up the mailbag tonight too.
We got mail.
We got mail.
Here's the mail. What's the song?
You don't remember it?
I can
You
never remember it. I'm so bad.
Here's the mail. It never fails. It makes me want to wag my tail.
Okay.
When it comes, I want to wail. Mail. Okay.
Yeah.
We have young kids. Can you tell? So last week, I think it was last week, we talked about
young kids who are too little for that show.
Yeah. Last week we read an article about, it was published in the Denton Record Chronicle, right, in the religion section. There was a local pastor joking about gender identity and PC culture.
Right.
Nonsense. Well, we got an email from a listener, Janice, who I didn't know was a listener. Thank you for listening.
Yeah.
Reach out to us. I love hearing from people that listen to the show.
It's so exciting.
She says, I am personally embarrassed about Denton this week. I don't even know what they were thinking. Denton has a pretty big LGBT plus community, and that article really does not represent us very well. So it is just an embarrassment, really. She goes on to say, I am starting a student organization for trans and non-binary students, which hopefully will offer some sense of empowerment to my friends in the face of local ignorance.
Awesome.
I will be sure to tell them about your show. I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Janice.
Great. Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. Seriously, though, I love hearing from people because I can see the statistics. I know that 10 of you are listening. I know Dan, Russell, Morgan. I know 3 or 4 of you. Kidding.
Oh, my gosh.
Another update to a story from a couple weeks ago, if you recall. One of our Florida man stories was about a man who intentionally drove a Ferrari off a dock into Lake Worth Inlet in December, causing about $50,000 in damage to his 2000 Ferrari coupe.
Did we find out what happened?
And $1,000 in damage to town property.
Ooh.
At the time, all we had was dash cam footage and not very many details. Well, it turns out the man was James Mucciaccio Jr., 48. Mucciaccio. It's got to be Italian. I don't know.
Yeah, that's pretty close. I bet that's it could be it could be Musi. It could be Mucciaccio.
Yeah, whatever. Deerfield Beach, and thanks to police reports, we now know why he did it. According to the Palm Beach Daily News, at about 7 a.m. that morning, a bicyclist told a passing officer that a man was speeding his Ferrari in the 1200 block of North Ocean Boulevard. Officer found him parked on the inlet dock. Muchacho told police that he was waiting for a friend to pick him up. We'll just call him James from now on, huh? The officer told him he couldn't park on the dock, leading to James entering the vehicle and picking up with the dash cam footage that we saw.
Right.
He reversed the bit,
Crazy.
switched into drive, shot off the pier into the water at a high rate of speed. Big splash. Wow. James was fine, of course, and was brought to shore by a nearby fisherman. According to the police report, after reaching shore, he walked back to the officer and said Jesus told him to drive off the dock, quote, and into a 6-foot window.
Jesus.
End quote.
Window? Wait, what? Wait.
Yeah.
A 6-foot window off the dock.
Apparently so.
I don't remember seeing a window.
No window.
Was it a Jesus window?
No Jesus either, for that matter.
Was it?
He also said, quote, money is going to be irrelevant in 2 days. Remember to smile.
What? What? Oh, that's better than I could have ever imagined. Right? Of course it was Jesus.
Now, had we known these details that night,
he probably would have won.
This would have clearly won the Florida man.
He totally would have won.
But anyway, I wanted to share the update because we really struggled with this one, not having a lot of information, like where does it fit in?
Is he... Oh, okay, whoa. Hold on.
She's just moving.
There's a puppy. She got tangled in the cords. It's okay. You can go back to sleep. Now my foot is cold.
Well, mine's warm.
Sure. Of course it is. Russell says, why is he from Deerfield Beach, giving my city a bad name?
Yeah. Sorry. I mean, look, again, there's one in each every... Anyway. But so here we are again with someone claiming, Jesus' voice in my head.
Yeah.
Right. And again, I ask, where's the line between someone who claims he heard Jesus tell him to drive off a dock and someone who claims Jesus told him to preach against homosexuality last Sunday? Mm-hmm. Where's the difference there? Or claims to hear the voice of God at all?
Yeah.
Right? Why does this not fall under the category of or psychotic disorder? Right? I'll say it. I've said it. I'll say it 1,000 times. If the voice in your head is Larry and Larry tells you to do things, harmful or otherwise, that's a disorder of the mind. That's how we treat that. But, the brain is not functioning in some way, in the right way. Now call that voice God instead of Larry, and you get a free pass. No problem.
Victoria's here. I don't know when she snuck in, but hi. We didn't see you. I didn't see you. She said, does Jesus ever tell people to do something that isn't fucking stupid?
It sure would seem.
Dan says, I believe I voted for this story despite not knowing all the frivolous details. And Russell says, oh, Becca, I like the phone stand. Yeah, thank you. That was one of my Christmas gifts. We both got one.
Yeah. Mine's over here off camera.
Yeah, if you really see it.
We do have the phone forwarded, 22440-SARAH, 224-407-2724 if you want to call and chat about anything. Really. Doesn't have to be on topic. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about.
We just want to talk to people. Anyway.
Another follow-up.
Oh, we had 2 follow-ups in one night? Wow.
Yeah, 3.
Oh, my. Okay.
Really? No, there's actually more than that.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no, it just keeps going. It just keeps going.
It's just follow-up after follow-up after follow-up?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, lots of follow-ups tonight. There's like 4. Now, okay, I shared this photo to our Facebook recently. It's a picture of one of those church signs, right, where you can change out the letters like the McDonald's board out on the street. And the sign read, Bruce Jenner is still a man, homosexuality is still a sin, the culture may change, the Bible does not. Ugh. That picture was shared by the Northern California pastor who put the sign up, Justin Hoke of the Trinity Bible Presbyterian Church.
Because, of course. In
the post, he said that the sign rebuked sin and called people to repentance. Someone vandalized the sign.
Yeah, well, duh.
Stole some of the letters, and I looked all over to see if I could find, like, what message was left over after the letters were removed. I couldn't find anything. And neighbors of the church rallied to show that they care about all members of the community, regardless of orientation, gender, or other aspects of the identity that make them unique. And so, this past Sunday, Hoke wrote again on Facebook, this time saying that he was pressured to step down. The other elder at the church said he no longer had confidence in Hoke, and everyone except one couple in the church said they would leave if he stayed on as pastor.
That's not what I heard, because Dan said the congregation fired his ass.
Yeah, basically. Yes. All but this one couple who said, we're okay with him. He's fine. He can stay. Yeah, and he said he did not want to leave and did not quit. He maintains he was fired.
Okay, well then.
Then Hoke posted again, having learned nothing from the experience, quote, "The response we're receiving from this sign proves that it was posted way too late. If a conservative mountain farming community is no longer a safe place to call sin, sin, then is anywhere in this country still safe for real Christians?"
No.
Now, a few thoughts. Right? One, I bet if you sat your former congregation down and asked them what a real Christian is, you'd probably get as many different answers as there are people in the congregation.
Yeah.
Right? And none of them would describe this guy.
No.
In that description.
No.
Well, except maybe that one couple that were okay with him.
Yeah.
So it's the no true Scotsman fallacy, right? Like who gets to decide what a true Christian is?
Right.
And then the other thought, culture may change, but the Bible does not, right? And that's exactly the problem with the Bible. And I would argue we also see this in conservative politics. Yeah, go handle that if you need to. I think you may need to. Yeah. So you have a large overlap in the Venn diagram here of people who think that the founders of America wrote the perfect documents, which should still be interpreted by 1780s social standards even in 2019. The Constitution should be a living document. Yes, society changes. Hell, one of the first things they did was change the Constitution. And created the very process by which our foundational governing document should be updated to reflect changes in society. So that's a problem that I have with the Bible, too, right? If you believe that the Bible is the unchanging, inerrant Word of God, then it's no wonder you're lost in the Dark Ages culturally. But that mindset is the same, right? The idea that the founders could do no wrong and everything that they wrote was perfect and still applies exactly today as they meant it then is the same deference to authority that the Bible is the perfect inerrant Word of God. So you could make a good argument that even Christianity was updated, technically, with the New Testament. You know, is slavery still okay? It was in the Old Testament. God was fine with it in the Old Testament. But shellfish and mixed fabrics were off limits. Women should still be property. You should still be able to sell your daughters into slavery. The Bible doesn't change, right? Like, is this the world? Is this the world that we want to live in? I'm working on a presentation that I'm penciled in to give to a local group coming up here in the next few months. And one of the things that I'm working on is sort of this idea of, right, how do we respond to everything good?
Yeah, he was having a house party.
Oh, God. How do we respond to all of this momentum in the religious right to get into our government and change our laws? And I reflected on, like, the people who are pushing for these things, right? This Make America Great Again stuff is all about going back to the good old days. And the good old days to them is a time and place when life was good for them, right? Mm-hmm. Not good for queer people, no. Not good for women, not good for black people, but good for good old white Christian Americans, right? But I don't want to go backwards. We are right now in almost every possible measurable way, we are right now better off today than we have ever been in the history of the history. Things are better now. They're not great, agreed, but they're better now than they have ever been. Why would we go back? We need to be looking forward. Anyway, that's coming soon. Maybe you'll get to hear that speech. So here's another follow-up. Sorry you missed all that.
Yeah. Stupid.
We talked a couple weeks ago about outgoing Ohio Governor Kasich reinstating protections for LGBTQ people. Mm-hmm. You remember that? And we speculated about incoming Governor Mike DeWine's position. Mm-hmm. Well, the new governor was sworn in Monday. And though we saw some change in the 2019 Congress, historically, most elected officials have chosen to take their oath of office on the Bible, often choosing a family Bible or one of other significance. You've heard the phrase, "I'll swear on a stack of Bibles"? Well, Governor Mike DeWine chose 9. If you'll flip over to scene 4 there, we'll take a look at the picture. This is the most absurd picture I have ever seen. Of a swearing in.
Is that his wife holding the Bibles?
So there's his son, Ohio Supreme Court Justice Pat DeWine, administering the oath, and that poor woman holding the giant stack of Bibles is indeed his wife, Fran.
Her poor back and spine.
Right? Now, this was a private ceremony at his historic home in Cedarville, and if swearing on 9 Bibles to uphold the state and federal constitutions isn't enough to make you question the sincerity, he then, of course, had a second public swearing in the State House Rotunda later. So one was for show. You can switch that back if you want. Immediately upon swearing in, he issued 6 executive orders, fulfilling several campaign promises. He did not roll back the protections for gender identity that his predecessor issued on his way out the door. But he did add 3 new categories for protection against employment discrimination: pregnant women, people with young children, and foster parents.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? The other orders included the creation of Recovery Ohio. That's an initiative to tackle Ohio's devastating drug problem. Creating the governor's children's initiatives to address infant mortality and educational gaps among children in low-income homes. And ordering officials to appoint State Americans with Disabilities Act coordinator, creating a position within the Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services to focus on educating children in K through 12 about drug abuse prevention. So, stack of Bibles aside, and please, Fran, you can put them down now.
Right. Yeah, oh man, that poor lady in her back.
This doesn't look so bad.
Yes, Gizmo's getting bigger.
Gizmo's getting much bigger. Let's check in on the what's going on.
Victoria says, as the old saying goes, voting is like driving. If you want to go forward, choose D. If you want to go backwards, choose R. I have never heard that before.
I hadn't either.
But that's great.
Yeah, I see a T-shirt.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're out there.
Probably.
Victoria also said, "No, that's not the world I want to live in. I'm just waiting for the mothership to take me home."
Yep.
Well, some of the things that I'm trying to work on, I've set some goals for 2019, things that I want to do, just in my own life, to try to move the needle and respond to some of this stuff and make a difference. Because when you look at polling, and this gives me hope, right? When you look at the polling, the vast majority of Americans don't support any of this. They don't want a wall. They don't want Bible class taught in school. They're opposed to all of this stuff. So why are the laws still getting passed? Vote. Fucking vote. Right?
Please.
And I pick on her all the time, but we elected a Democrat representative to the Florida House who is a self-described demon buster who speaks in tongues and performs exorcisms at her church that failed to properly file tax forms for the last 4 years. and was under investigation by an ethics committee. While all of that was going on, that investigation, we reelected her. The fuck were you people thinking? Jacksonville area.
Ridiculous, yeah. What is her name?
Kimberly Daniels.
Yeah, because every time I hear her name, I think of
Kim
Kimberly
Davis.
Davis.
Yeah.
Kimberly Davis. I'm like, no, it might as well have been.
Yep. But here's the thing. Like, this is the revelation that I had while I was writing this presentation.
Mm-hmm.
I want to leave the world a little better off than it was when I came into it. Right? That's really it. For my kids, as a humanist, as a parent, that's really all I want to do is leave the world a little better. Right?
Stop licking me. I'm salty. Shouldn't be. I did take a shower after that yard sale.
So that's the goal, right? That's what I want to do. And I think and I'm just spitballing from my notes here, some of the things that I've been writing. I think part of that solution is we need to be empowering our young people. We need to be teaching them leadership skills. We, as we get older, need to be stepping into advisory roles and letting them take the reins of leadership, because they're going to change the world. Yeah. These kids really are. When you look at what happened in the days, the hours, days, and weeks after Parkland, these kids are involved. They're engaged, and they are going to change this world for us. And so the revelation was, it's not so much. Maybe this is because I'm coming up on 40, getting older, but it's not so much about what I want the world to be anymore. Now that I have kids, now that and they're old enough to, well, one of them at least, to really express ideas and think through challenges. So it's not so much about what I want from the world, what I want the world to be for my sake. It's helping our youth create the world that they want to live in. And as soon as we figure that out, and that's going to require cleaning house in a lot of legislative bodies, because the age, skews real high, then I think we're going to be on the right track. Anyway, I got off on a soapbox tangent there. I can only read part of Dan's comment.
Okay, he says, my favorite report about the wall is all the conservative Republicans who live along the border who now would lose some of their land to eminent domain to build the wall. They voted for Trump, so no sympathy.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Let's do this. I don't know, do we want to take a break yet? Quit licking me.
I'm sorry.
Anybody who doesn't know, like, this is their first episode, they're going to be like, oh my God.
It's just the puppy, people.
Victoria says, my son will be old enough to vote in 2020. He's stoked to help get rid of that tangerine nightmare.
Yes.
Absolutely. Let me vamp for a few more minutes and then we'll take a break. Because I'm just, right now, I'm just really trying to remember what I've been writing. So when you're talking to your kids, right, when we're having these conversations with them, play street epistemology with them, right? Like, we have an 8-year-old, and it's fun to play this game with him, because I want to know what he's thinking, yes, but I also want to know why and how he got there, right? So, son, what do you think about building a wall on the border to keep people out from coming in illegally? And he'd say, I don't think that's a good idea. You could leave it at that, but don't. Why do you think that? How did you come to that conclusion? Right? Talk through the reasoning that led him there. And of course, it turns out that our 8-year-old knows that, shovels and ladders and airplanes and boats all exist. So
it's funny that when an 8-year-old can be smarter than
a tangerine.
Well, I was going to say that, but then I was like, well, that's obvious. Then I realized, oh, well, that's the problem.
Right.
You elect a piece of fruit to office, you're going to have 8-year-olds that are smarter than your
Ask your kid,
sitting president.
Do you think there should be a Bible class in your school? Ask them that.
Right, yeah.
And then whatever their answer is, no, be careful in how you react. Don't judge. Don't, but okay, why do you believe that?
And
how did you get there?
What's
Talk through it.
Funny is a lot of little kids probably wouldn't really care, yes or no.
Right.
But I remember when I was in, maybe 8, 9, 10 years old, if somebody had asked me if I wanted a Bible class at school, I probably would have been like, no, I have to do that crap on the weekends. Why would I?
Right. Right. Dan says, quote, I'm trying to remember what I've been writing. Hint, it should be written down somewhere.
I love you, Dan. That's great.
It's in a PowerPoint presentation. I'm not going to pull that up right now. All right. Hey, let's do this. We'll take a quick break.
I'm going to get some ice.
Yeah, gotta get some ice for the...
Re-rum.
And we'll come back. We're going to talk about trans issue at a homeless shelter. The most adorable lesbian couple on the planet. There's another follow-up story.
Ooh.
And we've got a hero of the week and a Florida man.
Oh.
We'll do all that when we get back. You're listening to Sarah Talk.
Hello, my friends. This is Sister Mary Atheist of the Church of Religious Avoidance down here in Bumblefuck, Alabama. Now, my friends, my people, my brothers and sisters, do you feel lost? Do you feel that swelling urge to be a part of something better? Well, let the word of SarahTalk help you. If you've never known the word SarahTalk, learn it, live it, love it. Can I get an amen? No? Good, 'cause we don't do that shit round here. My friends, we must all remember that the good word of SarahTalk doesn't happen for free. So get yourself over to patreon.com/SarahTalk and help us spread the word. Plant that seed and help it grow into secular, peer-reviewed empirical evidence for the good of all. In the name of the Sarah, the Becca, and the science-based podcast, amen. Hallelujah and holy shit.
You let Jesus into your heart. Now it's time to bring him into your home with Flat Jesus. Take photos of Flat Jesus in questionable situations and share with the hashtag FlatJesus. Take pictures of Flat Jesus watching the Smurfs on TV. Hang him on a cross. He won't mind. Flat Jesus on your 3-year-old's toddler potty reading the Quran? That's fucking hilarious. But don't wait, apostates. Download your very own Flat Jesus right now at SarahTalk.com/Jesus. That's SarahTalk.com/Jesus now for your free Flat Jesus. The Bible says the earth is flat. Maybe Jesus was too.
Hey, this is Morgan Stevenson tuning in from Kalamazoo, Michigan on the Sarah Talk podcast.
Welcome back to Sarah Talk. I forgot I was going to say before the break that we were debuting the new Flat Jesus ad.
I love that ad so hard.
There's 2 different versions, so I'll be rotating them through as we
so good
rotate through the ads. If you have an idea for a funny ad, let us know.
I've got a really funny one that
it's in the works.
We need to work on.
Yeah.
It's going to be so good.
Yeah, in the works. Okay, so let's get back into it. But before we get back into the show, I want to thank all of our wonderful patrons. Your financial support is what keeps us going. Mm-hmm. We wouldn't be able to do this without you, or we'd choose not to. Maybe. I don't know. But no,
it helps
but listen,
to know that people actually want us to do this enough that they would contribute.
I'm shocked
way.
that anyone listens to this shit,
let alone
support us financially. So I love you so much.
Super
Thank
appreciated.
You all. For as little as $1 an episode, you can join our great patron family at patreon.com/SarahTalk. And if you're a federal employee and aren't getting paid, we'd love a 5-star review on Apple or Google Podcasts. Or wherever you listen to the show.
Oh my god.
Okay. Please share the episodes too. Tell a friend. All right. Everybody's loving the new flat Jesus hat. Good. I'm glad you guys like it. Dan was a big help in kind of working through, because the first version was like really long and the music wasn't right, and so Dan helped me out a lot of sounding board.
Oh, puppy's crying. What's the matter, puppy?
Poor puppy.
He's sleepy.
Okay, so
sleep on my feet. It's okay.
Are you quite finished?
I'm just trying to get her comfortable.
Okay. Alliance Defending Freedom, an SPLC designated hate group, and the same legal minds that defended a baker's right to deny service to the gays,
because why not,
is suing the city of Anchorage, Alaska. You see, Anchorage has a non-discrimination ordinance. And even though homeless shelters are exempt from the ordinance, which I kind of disagree with, Hope Center, a Christian homeless shelter, wants to make extra double super duper sure they can refuse trans people at the door.
Oh, what scumbags.
So keep in mind, we're talking about fucking Alaska.
Right. Well,
if you're homeless in Alaska
outside,
anything with warmth,
to death.
Right? Exactly. And when this all was going on, like temperatures were near zero.
Oh, that's so disgusting.
Yeah, overnight temperatures.
That they could even think that this is no humane thing to.
Alliance attorney Ryan Tucker said many women at the shelter are survivors of violence, and allowing biological men would be highly traumatic for them. He told U.S. District Judge that women have told the shelter they'd rather sleep in the woods than allow biological men to spend the night alongside them. God. Now, there's a couple of things there, right? Like, okay, I get it. You've been through something traumatic.
Sure.
I didn't do it to you.
Don't hold me responsible.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, and that can go for any kind of.
Right.
Like, I mean, you know.
Right. I want to be
sympathetic.
Sympathetic. That's the word. Yeah.
Sympathetic to the fact that you've been through something traumatic.
Yep.
But also, you know, I mean, it's hard for me because I've been in that situation where it's hard when you have an idea in your head about people and the way certain people can be. But I don't know that I don't know. I can't.
So there's a story circulating around about a trans person that they did turn away at the door. But shelter officials say they didn't reject a trans person, but that the trans person who showed up was injured, inebriated, and past check-in time. So they sent her to a local hospital. If that's the facts of the case, okay. Right?
Right.
And we've talked about this before. In general, I'm disgusted with the way we treat homelessness in America, all the way around. We have enough wealth in this country to end homelessness tomorrow forever.
Right.
But we're also fucking selfish and greedy. Those of us who don't have it to solve the problem aren't. But and in this case, you have a faith organization basically saying, like, we want to help people in need. Wait, no, not those people.
Right.
And again, like, while being sympathetic to the women in this shelter who have traumatic experience, trans people are far more likely to be harmed than to harm someone else. Odds are there's a trans person knocking on the door who has also experienced sexual assault and violence. And, like,
they're not there for you. They're there for warmth and safety and all the same things that you're there for.
Right.
They want those same.
Yep.
Yep. They're looking for that same help.
Remember the story we talked about, the most adorable lesbian couple on the planet? 68-year-old Bev and 72-year-old Mary, who had been together for 40 years, married for 10, and were denied housing by Friendship Village Senior Living Facility in Missouri.
I do remember this story.
Well, bad news, I'm afraid. A federal judge ruled against the couple. The couple's lawyers made the argument that discrimination on the basis of sex in this case should be interpreted to say that, like, had the couple been a man and a woman, you would have housed them. Because they were both women, you discriminated against them on the basis of sex, right? And we've talked about that distinction before.
Right.
Well, I'm not sure if the judge just didn't get it or didn't care, but Judge Jean Hamilton wrote in the court's decision, quote, "At no time do plaintiffs assert that had they been men involved in a same-sex relationship or marriage, they would have been admitted," right? Which is not the argument at all. So I see what he did there. Under the circumstances, he writes, the court finds that claims boil down to those of discrimination based on sexual orientation rather than sex alone. Right? Splitting hairs is what we're doing here.
Right, yeah.
And I'm not sure if they'll appeal. The judge in the case did even cite the Eighth Circuit Court of Appeals, which covers Missouri and other Midwestern states, on a 1989 ruling that existing federal civil rights law does not prohibit discrimination against homosexuals. Right? So again, courts are going, I am getting my foot chewed off for you people right now. Rather than let the dog squeak and cry and squeal under the desk, I'm letting her chew my foot off. Anyway, so courts are going to continue ruling on the letter of the law rather than the intent of the law, which is why we desperately need a National Equality Act.
Yes, absolutely. Ugh, these poor ladies.
Right?
So stupid. Like, and it's like, seriously, what harm is it going to do to anybody to just,
right?
At this point,
rent them a fucking room. What's it to you? Oh, I don't want to have queers living in my. Shut up. Again, like, this is the thing. These people get into these businesses to provide a service to a community that needs it, right? You Christian homeless shelter. Providing a service to a community that desperately needs
Be a
serve.
fucking Christian about it. That's all I got to say. Like,
and in this case, like, the goal of, if I were going to, and this is my problem. This is really my problem, Victoria. I push everything through my lens and my worldview. If I were going to open a senior living facility, I would do so with the intent of, like, helping seniors still have freedom in their life and be able to, have some control in their later years and have a respectful treatment as they, start to lose their faculties and become more debilitated.
Not become the victim of granny dumping and sitting in a room staring at a screen or a wall for hours upon hours with no mental stimulation or, socialization or any of that, all of that.
Okay, Donald Trump continues to make America great again, setting the record for the longest government shutdown in the history of the United States. If you have been affected by the government shutdown, I would love to hear from you. 224-40-SARAH, 224-407-2724. You can, the dog is bumping the camera.
Shaking the camera.
That's so crazy. You can email producer at SarahTalk.com. I'm just interested to hear from people who have been affected by this and what they're going through, how your yard sale went. So, and we've mentioned this, right? Some 800,000 federal employees are working without pay, and a large chunk of them aren't even available for to receive back pay.
Yeah.
So the hero of the week this week comes to us from the Federal Aviation Administration. An internal email obtained by the Young Turks was sent out January 9th by an FAA administrator. Subject, Internal Management Guidance regarding expression of views reminder. Here's the email. Employees are responsible for acquainting themselves with restrictions on partisan political activity and not engaging in prohibited actions. It is important to ensure that remarks made in any forum, regardless if made in connection with work or by a person identified as an FAA employee, comport with governing rules and regulations. Let me translate. Shut the fuck up about not getting paid. Don't talk about this shit on social media. Well, another email from a different administrator references the guidelines and says, please be mindful of this guidance to avoid any unnecessary scrutiny. And apparently doing what, like, your baby boomer boss does because they don't know how fucking email works, where they'll take the original email that was sent out to, like, pound FAA all, right? It went to everyone in the organization, right. But because you don't know how it works, you're like, I should forward this to my team. Forward. Like, your team already got it. You just, so frustrating.
Simmer down.
Anyway, our hero, one disgruntled FAA employee, hit the reply all button, typed out, isn't there also guidance about getting paid to work and forcing folks to work without pay being illegal? And clicked send. Replied to all. My hero.
Did he get fired?
No update on that story at this moment.
It would be worth it.
And look, don't fly right now.
No.
Don't fly. TSA
don't
agents
fly.
are on the work without pay list.
And don't buy lettuce.
Many of the, yeah.
Lettuce killed people while the FDA was operating.
Many of the TSA agents they don't give a fuck what you bring on board because they're not getting paid. What do they care? And the FAA, right? These are like the air traffic controllers who are literally keeping the planes from hitting each other in the sky.
Which is scary because my mom is traveling abroad right now, and I'm like, I hope you get back into the country when you come back.
Like, I love my job only goes so far, right? Like, eventually you're just like, fuck this place. Sure, bring your guns on board. Right. We don't care.
Like, could you imagine if security guards at Disney weren't getting paid, how much crap would get into the parks? Now, multiply that times level national security.
Right. All right, let's wind things down here, and we'll do the Florida Man.
Well, you know what they say. All the best stories start with Florida Man, 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 Florida. And sometimes a Florida woman.
I love it every time. It's so great.
Good, Brent. You're the best. Oh, right. So let's do the Florida Man, brought to you by our top patrons: part-time patron Russell, Mandy Imus, rhymes with Schmamer Schmillis, a.k.a. John of Wayward Willis.
Oh, John.
Lamont, and our official, unofficial live researcher, Dan. So let me first apologize. Many of you sent in a story about a Florida man who had syringes hidden up his ass.
Oh, my.
But when I went to write it out, it just wasn't as funny as the headline. And so in the meanwhile, I found this crazy-ass story from Ireland, which I thought was from The Onion. But it turns out not.
It's from Florida.
Might as well be.
Oh.
What's the Florida of Ireland?
I've never been to Ireland, so I don't know.
A 33-year-old patient was admitted to a hospital in Dublin after a huge abscess developed on his forearm. Doctors found the swollen rash had been caused by cellulitis, a serious bacterial infection that can cause severe pain and is potentially fatal if left untreated.
Right.
The man had been using a batshit crazy home remedy, which he called an, quote, innovative method to treat back pain, which had been caused by heavy lifting, just giant steel object, I guess he tried to lift up.
Okay.
He damaged the muscles. So, writing in the report published in the Irish Medical Journal, Dr. Lisa Dunn said, quote, he had devised this cure independent of any medical advice. He revealed he had injected 1 monthly dose of his own semen for 18 consecutive months using a hypodermic needle which he'd purchased online.
Are you fucking kidding me? What an idiot.
Doctors were able to treat his back pain properly, and his condition improved quickly after the short hospital stay, but he discharged himself before doctors had a chance to remove the semen from his arm. The ejaculate had leaked into his soft tissue because of botched injections.
Oh my God.
What a dumbass. Our second story tonight, challenger comes from Texas. Texas coming in with a strong competitor. Police were called to a Texas Walmart after a woman was reportedly drinking wine from a Pringles can and riding an electric cart in the parking lot, which is like just Friday night in Florida, I think, right?
I did see this one because there's like memes that are like every mom knows is whatever understands. Like, my spirit animal lives in Texas.
Officers responded to a call around 9 a.m. about a suspicious person in the store's parking lot. A pause for emphasis. Investigators found the woman at a nearby restaurant and told her she was banned from Walmart. According to the caller...
You gotta be messed up.
You gotta be real bad to get banned from Walmart. According to the caller, she had been riding around the parking lot since 6:30 a.m. drinking wine from a Pringles can.
Oh my gosh.
Now I want to know, like, was there a bottle of wine in a Pringles can, or was it just like...
Right? And is the wine salty, or did you wipe the Pringles can out first?
Right, you gotta wash it out first. Like my grandma, she used to do that, wash out all the containers of everything and save them. Sure.
I mean, it's no different than drinking your wine out of a box. They sell boxed wine. It's the same material. Scootering under the influence.
I like it. All right, and the final story, the actual Florida competitor tonight, 30-year-old Brian Stewart of Milton was charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon without intent to kill and aggravated battery. The victim, a neighbor, said that around midnight he could hear Stewart say to someone in the house that he was going to kill him with kindness. A second neighbor told Santa Rosa County deputies that he heard yelling and banging at Stewart's house. When neighbor number 2 approached the house to tell Stewart to keep it down, Stewart came out of the house wielding a machete-style knife with the word kindness written on it.
Oh, God.
Raised in an upward motion. Brave neighbor number 1 stepped in front of neighbor number 2 and was struck, suffering a half-inch cut on his hand.
Oh, man.
Stewart's breath smelled of alcohol, and deputies had to repeat things to him numerous times. Deputies had to stun him with a taser in order to be detained inside of the patrol car, and they even had to strap his legs together after he repeatedly kicked and banged his head inside the car.
Yikes. Oh.
Tonight, your choices.
They're good ones.
When I said, come inside me,
this
isn't what I had in mind.
This guy is so dumb. I don't understand. I don't understand this story. Like, where did he even find that remedy?
I made it up. I don't know. You read it on the internet.
Guys, if you got back pain,
don't do that.
Don't do that. Oh, okay.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere near 2700 Central East Freeway in Wichita Falls. The address of the Walmart. Or kill him with kindness.
Oh, I gotta go with the Walmart lady. I just think that's really funny. Kill him with kindness. Kill him with kindness is pretty funny too, but I don't know. Something about a lady drinking wine out of a Pringles can while driving a scooter through Walmart. It's like every people of Walmart person
right. It's
like got together in a gangbang and had a baby.
Wow. Well, for our Texas friend and our Irish friend, you'd fit right in here in Florida. Come on down.
Great. Yeah.
I think I'm going with the Irish story. The guy who's injecting his semen. It's pretty crazy.
Well, you've got
let's
Jesse,
see.
Russell, and Dan say Walmart. So it's 4 against 1, and there's 2 more people in the chat that haven't voted yet.
It's fine. My vote doesn't matter. This is all about y'all. Wow. I just write the stories up.
Listen, your vote does matter. Don't say my vote doesn't matter. Now that's out there on the interwebs for everybody.
Fuck. Somebody's going to pull that clip. Oh, shit.
SarahTalk.
I need a Pringles can to put my rum in.
I think I'm going to drink my drink from a Pringles can next week in honor of our Walmart friend.
I think that'd be fun. All right. Hey, let's wrap up the show tonight. Oh, my God, an hour. Right at an hour. I don't believe we did it.
I can't believe it either. I thought we were sure going to go over. We started early, too, so we... Oh, but not very early, like less than 5 minutes.
Yeah, no. So... Before we go, I want to tell you about just some things coming up here over the next few days for us.
Tell me about it.
Tomorrow, we will be in Orlando with the Central Florida Free Thought community.
We get a kid-free day.
Woo! Jim Helton is the speaker. He's the national field organizer for American Atheists. I can't wait to hear from him and meet him.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be good.
Yeah, talk to him about how we help us organize and plan it out. That is 1 to 3 at University Club in Winter Park if you're in the area and you want to join us.
If you could hear the whining dog, I'm sorry, but she's tired.
Monday, we will be recording with friend of the show, Tim Reimel, and Bill Prickett. They are now the hosts of the Recovering from Religion podcast, which is the podcast of the organization of the same name. So I'm not sure when that episode is going to be released, but we'll definitely share it out to you when it is. And on that note, we got to get the puppy to bed. So thank you all for listening. We'll see you again on Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern on the Facebook Live. You've been listening to SarahTalk.
SarahTalk is made possible by listener support. Visit patreon.com/SarahTalk to become a patron and help keep this program going. Contact Sarah and Company by email at producer@sarahtalk.com or call 224-40-SARAH. That's 224-407-2724. And follow us on social media, facebook.com/SarahTalkRadio and on Twitter @SarahTalkRadio. The opinions and information provided on this show are intended for entertainment purposes only. All opinions are solely that of the hosts and their guests. We make no representations as to accuracy, completeness, timeliness, or validity of any information and will not be liable for any errors or damages. SarahTalk is a production of Sarah Austin Media.